I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you why this is going to be my Game of the Year 2025. I mean, come on, what did you expect? Let's get it out of the way with now. For those of you who can't be arsed to watch the whole thing, yes, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is everything you could have possibly wanted from a sequel. It's fantastic. And the only small negatives I have don't tarnish what an absolutely bloody fantastic game this is. Now, if you are going, if you could leave a like, subscribe, that'd be great. But if you want to hear all of the ins and outs, then let's begin. Now, I do want to clarify, this was from a 4-hour gaming session behind closed doors in Kutna in Prague. Warhorse Studios was absolutely fantastic, and they had set up 2 different save games for us to play. One being the intro of the game, and 2, a late game save where we were helping a fencing studio in Kutna. Both of these sections allowed me to try different things, and we'll go into that in the video. So let's take it from the very start. And that begins us at the start of Kingdom Come 2. The game opens with the continuation of Hans Capon and the troop alongside Henry heading towards Trotsky. And I loved that scene. It's absolutely fantastic. When you're riding alongside Hans and the troop, you are kind of locked into a almost like you're on tracks, I guess. So all you have to do is just kind of keep the horse's speed up. But a nice thing, and this is one of the new features in Kingdom Come 2, is Hans will talk to you. And you can then hold down, I think it's LB, which is very similar to Red Dead 2, if you've played that. And you can then interact with like 3 or 4 different answers. And that basically opens up dialogue while in game. So you don't have to have a dialogue window open or anything like that. It is all in game and it's all on one button. And I really, really like that. Now, I will say, do not think that they've dumbed down conversations. No, you still have those moments where you are stood in front of someone and you have all these different options to talk about. And oh my god, every piece of armor or whatever your skill is in a certain attribute, like your charisma, your threat level, if you look really badass, that plays into almost everything. And I really liked how the opening sequence kind of showed that off. So we get to Trotsky, just outside Trotsky, and we meet that troop that comes down the hill on horseback and that we all thought was going to be an enemy. No, they're not. They are friendly, but we do have to talk them down. So in that sequence, it's kind of like a tutorial. It's teaching you how to kind of use your different attributes for your own benefit. And Henry, if you're good with speaking, for instance, he's going to be able to talk them down. And I really love that. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And just the dialogue feels a lot more natural. So after that sequence, we then go and rest, make camp by a lake. Now, if you've seen the clip in the trailer of Henry and Hans going for a swim, that is where this takes place. I will say, no, you do not get to swim. Although, from what Henry says, it does feel like we might learn to later. I don't know if that's the case, but that's the impression I got. We have this really cool moment where we're just all sat around the camp talking to our troop. And these are people that Hans has known for years. And you then build your Henry almost by using the dialogue options. And let's say, oh, what happened that night at so-and-so? Oh, yeah, that happened. So it kind of has that Witcher or Mass Effect style thing where you basically recount what you did in Kingdom Come 1. And I love that. I think that was a really good way of doing it. Of course, we're not going to be able to use our saves from Kingdom Come 1. We kind of knew that was going to be the case, but we do have the ability to build our Henry in that moment. And Teresa is mentioned. Teresa is mentioned, and you can be like, oh, I didn't really know her that well. Or, oh, you could be like, oh, she's my sweetheart, that kind of thing. And I bloody love that. This is also your first tutorial of combat, Farkle, feeding Mutt. You get to feed Mutt by using that new interaction system. And I will say the interaction system was a bit dicky. That's the word. It didn't always work. I had to stand at a certain angle to get Mutt to activate. I don't know if that's going to be fixed. Probably. It was probably just something that needs to be quickly patched. But yeah, you can feed Mutt food like you could in the original game. He's there bloody barking constantly. And even everyone else goes, "Can you please feed the dog?" And I liked that. I thought that was funny. Hans will then offer to do some training with you. Actually, I think it's mandatory, but you get to do training with Hans. Now, I will say I was completely butt naked at this point because I was like, well, I know I'm going to be going in the lake at some point. So Henry was just in his pants. It was amazing. So Hans is like, no, hang on a minute, Henry. You can't do that. You need clothes. And that's where we get to look at the new armor system. Oh my God. Okay. Armor goes in layers. You can't just put on everything in one go. You have to put on the lower layers first and then add on layers on top. And I love that. That was so cool. So we do that and we get to look at the new inventory. Oh my, okay. It basically looks like Kingdom Come 1's inventory with, of course, Henry stood on the right-hand side so you can kind of see what he's wearing. But the lighting is just beautiful. And I'll put a screenshot up now. Look at this. It's absolutely stunning. They just made it look really pretty. And as you can see, everything you expect to be here is still here. We've got our weight. We've got our value. We've got our stats at the bottom. We've got, yeah, basically it's the same system as Kingdom Come 1, but made better. And that's something I want to briefly bring up is UI. They have knocked it out of the park. Every UI element that pops up, maybe it's a mission or an activation of a mission or a completion of one, looks amazing. The UI person, whoever did the UI, amazing job. It's crazy. But there's something else that I love, and that is the fact you have a little rabbit companion on the screen when you're doing different actions. So let's say in the stealth situation I mentioned earlier, you're in stealth and there's a little, how would I explain it? Basically, he looks like the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. Very, very similar style. And he will be there at the top of your screen, like with a little magnifying glass, looking around. He's slightly animated, 2D. I love it. It's so cool. That is something that you're probably going to be able to mod out if you don't want that there. But personally, I loved it. I thought it was really cute. And it just adds character to the UI, which I don't really think KCD needed, but I think it's a great addition. So, yes, there you have it. So we're with Hans, we're doing the combat, and that is where I'm going to quickly talk about combat. Combat in Kingdom Come 2 has been, the word I was told to use is modified, because I used the word dumbed down, and it's not, that sounds harsher than how I mean it. When I was talking to Warhorse, it's not dumbed down as such. It's basically, they have the combat, your ring, your little circle in the center, and you had, I think it was all the angles, right? So you had down, up, left, right, and then you had diagonals on each, the bottom and the top. So it's now a little less. I think it's just up, down. God, this is a while ago I played it. It's definitely less angles that you can do, and we'll see that in the gameplay behind this video. It's definitely less actions you can do, but the combat still feels great, and that brings me to the point of control and my first negative. So, Kingdom Come 2 has completely new controls on controller. And now, personally, I've always used controller, apart from lockpicking. I always use the mouse for that. But I've always personally used controller, even on PC, just because that's how I prefer to play. And all the controls have been modified. So now you sprint by holding down the left stick, which is very Call of Duty or any game practically in the last 10, 15 years, instead of holding down B. And the only problem with KCD1, to sprint, you had to hold down B, but you had to then finagle your hand around to be able to try and turn the camera. It was really awkward. And I always said that needed to be fixed. It has. I don't know if it was because of me, but it has, and I'm happy. So that is now fixed. It's on the left stick. But combat is now, I think it was left trigger to block, and it was right trigger to attack. And the RB button, which would have been jab, with the stinger sword or freaking mace or whatever, that's now gone. And that's, I should have taken a bloody picture of the control scheme. They literally had one next to me, but I wasn't allowed to take photos, and I could literally tell you everything. Yeah, so the jab has now gone. It appears you can still do it, but you have to do a certain maneuver in combat. And that, for me, was a little bit, oh, okay. I get why it's to allow new players to be able to get into the game a little bit easier. But I want to clarify that that does not mean that there isn't still hardcore stuff. Because with Kingdom Come Deliverance's combat, it's really bloody hard at the start. But once you learn the master parry, it's fucking easy and amazing, and I love it. But this feels like it's going to stay pretty, like, tough. And I like that. I like that we're going to be having to train our Henry more, and the combat feels meaty. It feels, I don't know, they've done something. It just feels a lot more crisp. It's hard to explain. So yeah, that's combat. I got to use a crossbow, which was interesting. The crossbow, I'm going to have more time with it because I only got to use it once. Do I mention this? Probably. Okay, so the time when you get to use the crossbow is when you're playing as Father Godwin. Boom! Mic drop. Yeah, you start the game as Father Godwin, not as Henry. That was a bit of a shock. And he is defending a castle with Sir Hanscape on. No sign of Henry. Just want to point that out. No sign of Henry. But you're playing as Godwin, and you have the crossbow, and the enemies come towards the castle, and you need to stand on the perch of the wall and fire down with your crossbow. And it felt very auto-aimed. It would kind of attract itself to the enemy, and I found that I was always firing above the enemy. So I'm going to have to, when I'm actually playing the game, I'm going to have to aim down a bit. It felt all right. I didn't get to try the boomsticks, but yeah, the crossbow is something I'm a little bit, I'm fine with it. I would rather just run in there with a sword and shield and just beat them up. But yeah, so that's the crossbow and the intro of the game. Bloody hell. So yeah, combat feels good, but it's going to take a bit of getting used to for hardcore Kingdom Come players, I think. But it's not a negative, okay? And I want to make that very clear. By the way, I haven't been told to say anything by Warhorse. Just to clarify, all of these opinions that are rattling around in my head are my own. And I will say right now, I was in heaven. That whole event was just made for me. It was amazing. I had Toby standing behind me for like the first 10 minutes, like kind of just watching me kind of lose my mind over the Father Godwin thing. I also got asked afterwards by Daniel Emery from Play On, the most important thing is, what did you think? And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, they were lovely, but I'm not going to sugarcoat things I didn't like because I want to be as transparent as possible. So we looked at combat. Farkle makes a return. You get to play Farkle, and it's just Farkle. It's great. I will say the first person I went against, I played like four games. I really shouldn't have been doing that. I should have been playing the game. I ended up playing 4 games, and the first battle, Farkle fight, I guess, was 2,000 points. And then later on in the game, in that second save, it was 6,000, which I think was a little bit too high. The game went on for a little bit too long. But Farkle is fantastic. If you played it in the first game, you're going to love it here. But they've also added in this new thing called badges, which is like kind of modifiers. I didn't really get to experience that, but I know they're in the game. So that's something that's that's the new thing they added to Farkle that Toby mentioned. So that's cool. So you talk to all these people, and then Henry and Hans go out into the lake for a nice little swim, and they hear these women cooing and woo and singing and everything else. And Hans is like, oh, women. So then he's like, Henry, we need to go and spy on them from the reeds. So Henry and Hans spy on these ladies who are doing their washing in the lake. Yeah, by the way, spoilers. I'm probably going to put that at the start. Spoilers for the intro of the game. Shit, it's the fan. It just all goes very wrong. And Toth and his men just ravage your entire troop. They're all dead. And it's very sad. And I was kind of blown away they just did that, to be honest. So Henry and Hans are now on the run in their pants. It's amazing. It's great just for that. But so you're running through the Bohemian, what is it called? The Bohemian Paradise, walking through these like craggedy rocks, and you have to sneak through, and that's where your sneaking and all that kind of stuff comes into play. I heard Fritz. It's the bloody same voice actor. One of the bad guys was using Fritz's voice, so that voice actor, I'm pretty sure, is returning. And yeah, you sneak through, and then you end up fighting a guy on top of a rock, which we saw in the trailer. It's that scene of Henry and a armed man fall off the rock. If you know the clip from the trailer, that's where that takes place. And Henry is buggered. I mean, he is on death's door, and it's hit or miss, to be honest, if he's going to survive. And you then get not carried, but like helped by Hans Capon to a old lady's house who can then heal you. While on the way, you're constantly having flashes of Kingdom Come 1 Skalitz. And I will say, there was a bit of a tonal shift here that I was a bit confused by. Henry kept going on about his sword. It was to the point where it was kind of comedic. He was just like, my fucking sword! And I was just like, God, Henry, you're dying. Like, think of anything else right now. They also did the mum waking you up fake out that they did in Kingdom Come 1 twice, which I'm surprised by. They did it I'm pretty sure I'm correct. They did it twice in that intro sequence, and I was like, you did that before. Don't do it twice now. So yeah, you end up getting taken to this old lady's house, and then an armored man blows through the front door, and Hans and him fight. And then you fall asleep, wake up, and now Hans is on death's door because the fight didn't go too well for him. Thankfully, the bad guy's gone, is deceased. But Hans is now buggered. And this leads into the kind of prologue moment from Kingdom Come 1 with of course, Ratai. And so you've got to learn how to eat food, that kind of thing. And you then learn how to make different concoctions with the Alchemy system. The Alchemy system is very similar to the first game. There appears to be a ton more things you can make, though. And also the water in the actual Alchemy bowl. And I have a picture here. I'm going to put that up if I remember. Looks really good. The animation's really nice. It's just a more like pretty version of the Alchemy system. So Alchemy is in the game, and yeah, you're going to have to learn all that. I will say, and you have to go and pick different things. There is still a picking animation. It's slightly quicker, but it's still there. And I remember saying to Christian about it. I was like, come on, why? He was like, well, it's still there. I was like, yeah, it's still bloody there. So that's going to be a mod, day one, probably. Saviour Schnapps is also still here, but it's not called Saviour Schnapps. Oh, bloody hell, what was it called? It was something stupid like Save the Game or something like that. But yes, it is still basically the same thing, and it is still in the game. So that's something. And then that was basically all I got to play of that until they kicked us out and then made us go and take a break, because otherwise our eyes would turn square. That leads on to the second part of the game, which I'll talk about in a minute. I want to talk first about performance. Now, I will say, I have no idea what the specs of the computer they had there. They had custom computers, like custom Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Like on the side, it was beautiful. Warhorse, can I have one, please? They were stunning, and I loved them. And Kingdom Come 2, phenomenally well optimized. So before I know, it was a fucking 4090. But from what I played, the game ran incredibly well, like beautifully well. I didn't have a frame drop once. The loading times were incredibly quick. And that brings us on to another aspect to performance. How is it going to run Kutna Hora? Because that's something I've been saying since day one. How the hell are they going to do this? They did it. I didn't notice a frame drop. I didn't notice any difference from anywhere else in the game. Kutna Hora, it's magic. I don't know. It ran phenomenally well, and there were hundreds of NPCs walking around. I will say that does lead me on to a kind of negative. There's so many NPCs that I kind of felt a bit overwhelmed, because you'd stop to talk to someone and there would just be NPCs just pushing in between you and just going about my business. And it has the hustle and bustle, but I feel like maybe the hustle and bustle is the NPCs don't know where the bloody hell they're going. Or they're blind. To be honest, I don't know, because some of them, I don't know what they're doing. I think it's incredible that they've been able to do it. And if all of these NPCs, which I'm led to believe have their own time schedules and jobs and houses and sleep schedules and cleaning and washing and everything else, insane, right? But if they don't, they're just wandering around, just all ziggity-zaggity. And it was just a bit of a shock. I'm sure that's going to be something they're going to be kind of making a bit tighter before release, I hope. But yeah, that was something I noticed that was like, okay, you did it, but you did it too well. And now they're all over. So yeah, Kutna Hora, beautiful recreation. I got to see the real Kutna Hora and walk around and actually see the locations from the game I just played, which was mind-blowing. Yeah, there was a bakery. I did go to the bakery because I wanted to see if there was a Sexy Biscuit Easter egg. I'm that stuck up. I literally went, and there was a lady in there, and she was great, but she wasn't called Barbara, and there were no biscuits. So, no biscuit, no Sexy Biscuit Easter egg spotted, sadly. But I have been told there are a few. So I'm guessing we'll have to work together to find those when the game releases. Yeah, Kutna Hora, incredible. Really bloody neat. Just a lot to see, do, walk around. It's rat-eye, but fucking big. And performance-wise, great. Really damn good. Lighting, graphically, Kingdom Come Deliverance is just amazing. Kingdom Come 2, I didn't get a chance to walk around really like foresty areas that much. Apart from the Bohemian Paradise, but that was at night, so I didn't really get to experience it fully. But I'm assuming it's going to look stunning during the day. Yeah, graphically it looks really damn good. And yeah, they're pushing CryEngine to its goddamn limit, I would say. So, that leads us on to obviously the Kutna Hora part. Now, in Kutna Hora, there was a man, a German man, I'm pretty sure, who was trying to create his own fencing studio / school, and someone else had already had one in the town. So there's this feud between this German guy and the original fencing person. And you have to then side, or decide not to, or do whatever you want, basically, because the options are incredible. And we were told by Sir Toby, please do it, because otherwise you won't experience certain things that will kind of give you insight into how the game works. And so fair enough, we all everyone there, I assume anyway, everyone there did this mission. And yeah, for a side mission, god damn was it like in depth. Like it felt like a Witcher 3 side mission. It was just going to try and steal that sword that I mentioned earlier, and then there was an actual tourney, best out of 3, and so it was me, the German fencing master, and his like subordinate, and we then had to take on 3 of the other people. They didn't allow you to skip not your go. So it did feel like it could drag on, maybe if you weren't as invested. But you could stand there and watch these fights happen. And yeah, it's basically the same tourney system as Kingdom Come. And there's going to be, I'm assuming, tourneys. And the build, just that area was stunning. The artwork and how they've built this area looked really nice. Shadows and everything, and the colors of the flags, and just beautiful. So yeah, that was that mission. I didn't get to complete it, sadly, but that was the main like things to take away from this demo, right? Now, I don't know what they're going to be showing at Gamescom that we have just seen yesterday and today, because I'm recording this a few days early, but I'm assuming we're going to be seeing some gameplay that I didn't get to play. A nice thing, I have been looking through some pictures that I got sent by Warhorse. I did want to mention these few things. So you have a belt now that you can attach stuff to. Now, I don't know, because I didn't try it, but I'm wondering if you can attach lanterns to your belt. That would be really cool. We have a new ability in combat where you can hold down LB, the interaction button, and you can scream or you can taunt. And there are all these different lines that Tom McKay had recorded. Tom McKay, by the way, phenomenal in this. He is just more Tom McKay. It's great. And same for Luke Dale. The other voices, really good. But yeah, so you can now shout, and the enemy will actually respond to you, and then you could maybe try and trick them into getting a bit angry, and then maybe stumbling or whatever, which is really neat. And yeah, just so many little things in here that I can't put in one video. Warhorse Studios, you have knocked it out of the bloody park. They have been working on this apparently since 2019, which is what I bloody knew. We knew that. I mentioned that back in the day, just after the DLC had come out. I was like, I'm pretty sure they're working on the DLC with a small team and working on KCD2 with the full team, right? That's true, apparently. So Kingdom Come 2 has been in development since 2019, so like 5 years, right? It shows. It shows, and this will be my game of the year 2025. Like, there's no question about it. If they don't break everything before release, this is it. The game felt complete. Like, I didn't notice anything that was like, oh, no, we've got to fix that. No, there wasn't really anything like that at all. There was no, like, placeholder things that I noticed. Just everything felt concise and complete. And really, I can't believe we have to wait until bloody February, because I'm really annoyed because I want to play more of it. We'll see later in the year. Hopefully there's another event maybe. Or maybe like the press event thing. I don't know, but we'll find out. But all I can say, Warhorse Studios, thank you. Well done. And I was right to keep believing. Not only in the game, but in you guys. And that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go now and just think about Kingdom Come 2. All right. Bye. Oh, subscribe, leave a like, bye.